playoffs almost lost me. But the way that both coasts were going, both conferences, they were following the theme of this past week, and they almost became a royal bore. You see what I did there? Ray, you see what I did? A royal bore. But, as always, LeBron comes and saves the day. He swoops in last night like a superhero and takes a series that was headed into the doldrums and made it a series, and probably the last final interesting thing about these playoffs. I was ready to start talking hockey, which we'll do, but now we can talk a little basketball, which is what we love to do on this show.
This is true.
Scorer's Table, as always, this is J.O., this is G, and I'm Frank. So, LeBron saves the day. We get to start the show off talking about the NBA playoffs instead of the NHL Stanley Cup, which is a good thing. So, where we stand right now is...
Series is tied 2-2.
This is true.
Series is tied 2-2. It did not look like that was going to happen.
I had a sweep.
I mean,
Yeah.
I still got Celtics in 7, so I'm still looking good right now. But Cleveland did what we thought they would do. Go home, play fantastic basketball. LeBron is LeBron. And here we are. Game 5 in Boston. I think is one of the biggest swing games.
I did see an interesting stat the other day. Anytime LeBron is trailing 2-0 in any playoff series, he is technically right now 8-0 in games 3 and 4.
Wow, that's a great stat right there.
That's just letting you know right now that he's probably the greatest player that we've seen in this lifetime, in this era.
And that's a topic that's come up over the last couple of days is, are we ready to start to have the conversation about LeBron versus Jordan? What context can we put that argument in to make it a fair argument?
I mean, to me personally, I think, are we going to break it down into different categories? Are we going to talk championships, all-star games?
Personal accolades. You know,
Yeah, like what? How are we going to separate and be able to dive into that and really divide the two?
Right.
What are the categories are we going to set the standard up with this argument, though?
I think you have to do it by eras.
Okay.
If what it brought to mind for me was, I forget which video game that was, where you had a choice of using Jordan from like his first couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
His like
Oh,
80, 85, 86.
Okay.
It was like, it was one of those cartoonish video games.
Okay.
Or you could use them first championships. You know, those
The
first
early
couple
90s,
championships,
the
early
early
90s,
90s. Okay,
Trailblazers,
okay.
Lakers, or you could use them post first retirement when he came back. And he had the back down game and the fadeaway game, 96, 97, you know, that whole era. So I think if you break it down that way, you have the same thing going on with LeBron, in that you have him the first Cleveland era, where he was King James.
This is true.
When we first got to know him as King James.
Yep.
Took a team of, can you remember even one player on that team to the finals?
Big Z.
Okay. Candace Parker's brother.
I think
You know,
Gibson.
yeah, there you go. Keisha Cole's husband, in other words.
Gibson,
You know, and then you had the LeBron from Miami, of course, and now you have this LeBron. So I think if you break it down that way, then we can start to make some comparisons that we can have fair arguments from.
This is true. I agree. So should we compare the LeBron we're seeing now to '98 Jordan?
Well, 98
You know what I mean?
was
Before he
still,
became a
98
Washington
Jordan.
Wizard.
That's
when he was still that guy.
Well, in 98 with Jordan, his team was kind of like ridiculous. No, they were had like one of the best records in the league.
Well, it's just player to player we're talking
No,
about.
not overall team. I mean, come on.
If you switch them on teams, if you had LeBron on that '98 era team,
then that team's
or Jordan on this Cleveland Cavaliers team, what would it look like? What would we have? What would we be looking at?
Honestly,
That's tough.
I think Boston would have had Jordan right now if he was playing with the
Wow.
Cavs. I think so. Due to the fact that, granted, LeBron does everything for that team. He passes the ball, he rebounds. Jordan was a better scorer, better defender.
Yes.
I'll say that every day.
Yes.
But do you think that he will facilitate the team like the way LeBron does?
He didn't have to. Those
That's
players
what
on the Bulls
that's what I'm saying.
role.
Exactly,
He
that's what I'm
didn't
saying.
have to. They
That's what I'm
knew their
talking
role.
about. That's what I'm saying. But this is now if LeBron was on the Cavs and LeBron was on. If Jordan was on the Cavs and LeBron was on the Bulls, then that's what I'm saying. I think the Cavs. I think the Celtics would have taken the Cavs.
Only reason I don't know, and one of you guys help me out. because then the killer instinct comes into play. I don't think they had the same level of killer instinct.
But
I think Jordan
LeBron
was
is
just
playing
an animal,
with
man.
LeBron is playing with guys that's not even on his level, like nowhere near like that can help him out on a guy that if LeBron takes a night off.
And no disrespect, Will Purdue was that important?
I understand it, but I understand what you're saying. But he had Pippen. So who does LeBron have that say, all right, you know what, I'm gonna score 20 tonight?
I give you Pippen and Rodman. Who else was there, man?
I mean,
yeah, Horace Grant, bro. Was he?
Horace Grant wasn't on that team.
I mean, I guess my thing is I'm starting to see that killer instinct with LeBron. That's why they're where they are. That's where they are. I don't know if the LeBron from that Miami era, the first year when they lost to the Dallas Mavericks, I think 2002 would have been it. He was hanging his head then. He was too concerned about what everyone thought about him. This is a different LeBron. The bearded LeBron is a different LeBron.
That's why it's hard for me to put him over because Jordan had it already. LeBron had to go to Miami to learn that. Jordan had it.
But also, you got to think about it. What team kept taking him out, though? What team kept taking LeBron out? The Boston Celtics. The Celtics had
the Pistons did it first.
That's apples and oranges. That's a different.
The Pistons did it first.
So he needs. So honestly, in LeBron's eyes, he said, "Listen, I'm trying to get a championship here." So you saw what the Celtics did. Danny Ainge is a great GM. He got brought in Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and then you had Rondo, who people really kind of looked over, but he was actually an integral part of that team.
Oh, absolutely.
So you just honestly, I understand why LeBron did it. Now, do I agree that that he did it? No, I thought it was kind of a Trump way out, but I understand it though.
Understand his reasons. Yeah, so, I mean, now in 2018, I think we all do. We understand his reasons for leaving.
Yeah, I mean, you see what Golden State did, so Yeah.
I mean, and that's a topic for another day. The whole super team barnstorm the league issue that we're all dealing with. But as far as this Jordan, LeBron, Mount Rushmore, I think I'm not sure if we can talk about LeBron touching Jordan just yet. Maybe we can if we manipulate the context right. Mm-hmm. But I think maybe the more relevant topic right now or argument to make is that LeBron is definitely inching his way on to that Mount Rushmore.
Oh, they can start carving the stone right now.
Oh, yeah,
they can carve the stone right now.
LeBron would definitely, to me right now, be the top 5 greatest player of all time. Once he retires.
And there's 4 faces on Mount Rushmore for the kids keeping score. So he still got a little ways if he's top 5. But we'll leave that there.
Top 5.
We'll leave that there. So stay in school, kids. There's no more.
Patrick Ewing. Once Patrick Ewing got traded to Seattle, man, it was doomsday.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's talk about this Houston.
Wait, we on? Well, how long we been on?
She lets the camera roll. That way she can pick things up.
Okay.
But let's talk about this Houston Golden State series right now, because this is a series I was alluding to at the intro. It's become a bore fest, but there's still some interesting talking points because we have to now talk about what this type of series does for, or maybe more importantly, to the league.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a team like this that's constructed to be the Death Star in the league and to just feast and just run through the league, is that a good thing or is that a problem?
Well, at first I was probably think maybe 4 years ago when we started to see this team being constructed and put together, when Steph Curry became who he was, Klay Thompson. I guess we did think it was good for the league because it brought a new face, because I think everybody started to get a little tired of LeBron in the finals. So I think it brought that level of competition.
Well, pre-Durant. Okay.
Pre-Durant. We started to see the rise of the Golden State Warriors.
Well, I'm talking about post-Durant, because pre-Durant it was organic. I love that.
Exactly.
I love that all those guys were drafted by Golden State.
Yep.
Except for maybe some role players. That's always going to be the case where you're going to import some role players. But for the most part, their core was drafted.
It was.
And they won that first championship.
They did.
Then they lost the second year.
This is true. But they won 73.
They won 73. Now you bring in Kevin Durant. Don't even get me started, because I don't want this to be about my opinion about what Kevin Durant did.
Absolutely.
But or about him. He's still a great player. No
Well,
matter
he just
what,
followed the formula,
But,
though. He followed the
yeah,
formula
yeah,
that I
he's-
guess the guy that we
That's
call
the thing. He
the
followed
best player in
LeBron.
the league started
Exactly.
this formula.
yeah. So has it become necessary to do that?
Well, it does
If
now.
we're Knicks fans, so if we don't have an opportunity to do that,
Correct.
are we gonna just be looking at the seller if we stay organic and just try to build
Yes.
a draft? And,
Yes, because in a way, that's what the league is doing now. They're buying superstars. Just
But
call it
if you
what
look
it
at
is
the
right
Celtics,
It's
I mean,
the
excuse me, not the
Yankees,
76ers. The
the
76ers
Yankees
going.
are
The 76ers going to be going on that route with Ben Simmons,
Right,
and
right.
Embiid. I'm sure they're going to add another key player, like we mentioned earlier. Kawhi wants to get out of this, wants to leave the Spurs.
Yeah.
But,
So-
but with the 76ers, the process, it was 50-50 to me about being organically done. They tanked a lot of seasons. to get
Which team is this?
Sixers.
Yeah, that's organic still.
To a degree,
It's
that's why
slightly manipulated, but
little
they,
exactly.
they still drafted everybody.
I mean,
they had.
how many? Yeah,
they blatantly tanked.
Yeah, they
Blatantly
So
tanked
is that
for 3
organic?
years in-
That's
Oh,
that's
my
different
point. It's
from
50-50 to me.
next year when we may see the 76ers go grab LeBron. That's what the Warriors did. Is you go and you take the best player in the
Best
league
player.
and say,
Yeah.
if you come, you're the ingredient
The
that
missing
makes this
ingredient on
souffle
a
rise right here.
73
Yeah.
win team.
Right. I
What's
know.
the missing ingredient
I know.
on a 73
That's how I
team?
feel about it. Some people feel differently. Some people feel like as long as it falls within the rules of engagement, it's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
I have to concur with that, but from a fan's perspective, not even a Knicks fan's perspective. Let's take that out of the argument. Just from a fan's perspective, how many we're going to be seeing Golden State do this?
Yeah.
How many more years? I mean,
They can just keep subbing in players, and now they're the hot spot. All the old players on their way out going to want to go there, chasing
Yeah.
the rings and stuff. So this just opens up the floodgates
Yeah.
at Golden
Yeah.
State.
Yep.
So it's the new
I
hot
agree with
spot.
that.
It's the new hot spot.
I'm not crazy about that, but let's actually transition and try to segue that into a topic that we all think is pretty cool, and that's the Stanley Cup, the Stanley Cup Finals right now. And what we're seeing there is an expansion team that's basically made up of spare parts from other teams, players that those GMs, those organizations left unprotected. So that, and that's mandatory.
It is.
They did that because they absolutely had to. And then you have this team in Vegas that comes in, takes those players. They have maybe one name player in Marc-Andre Fleury who, was
an outcast.
He was an outcast where he was. That may have been on the last
To a team
breath
that won
of
the
his
Stanley
career.
Cup Finals.
Right.
The Stanley Cup Finals winning team at that.
Now in contrast to what the Warriors doing, how cool is it for their league? Now, we're not hockey experts. We're not going to sit here and analyze what's going on the ice. But just from a league perspective, in contrast to the Warriors, how cool is it to see this happening? How important is it?
I think it's very important because it gives parity, but not even the parity, it just brings excitement to a league that looked like they were failing.
Yeah.
It brings more
Yeah.
excitement and energy back into the NHL because I don't even think people were even watching the games on TV too much. The ratings were pretty low. So I
You can't find the
seeing this-
games.
You can't
Even
find
in the playoffs. You can't
even
find the games.
Where are they even
Think
being
about it. This is
telecast?
the first
You need a
expansion
star map
team
to find a game.
out of all the 4 major sports in North America that you ever seen an expansion team in a finals. So I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
That's also that alone
That's-
itself is amazing.
It's a great story.
So
Does it help? So let's fast forward to next year, the next couple years. Does what Vegas doing? Will that help the league exposure-wise, or will people just still not care next year?
No, I think so because Vegas also brings in a lot of tourism. You know what I
It's
mean?
Vegas.
So it's Vegas.
how long
So
have been trying to get a team there, like out of the 4 major sports?
I think merchandising, I think it's going to do well, especially when the Raiders get there. I think it's just going to skyrocket. It's going to skyrocket in Vegas.
It's going to be great. And we don't expect to see the Raiders. The Raiders are a different story because they're already trending upwards.
This is true. This is true.
They're
I'm just
not an
the
expansion
city,
team, but
Las
yeah,
Vegas
right.
itself, Nevada itself.
The
I just
Raiders
think
aren't
that
there yet,
energy-
so it's just
Real
that.
soon, real
There will
soon.
be,
Yes,
well, there will be,
real
but I'm
soon.
saying just right now that we have the hockey team that's there, that's playing there.
It's
Right.
leverage.
So-
Right. It's leverage. They're saying
So
like,
it could just be, so now the next you know you might see a NBA team or even a MLB team there.
Look how
So-
skeptical
I
people
hope
were
so.
about seeing if people in Vegas would support football. Look what they're supporting hockey. So only imagine
And
Exactly.
a game played on
football.
ice in the desert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'll tell you what. You guys can call me bandwagoner. I love the story. I've been enjoying this run since the early part of the season, before anybody could have predicted that they'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I kind of have a secret dream to live in Vegas one day. So they are officially, the Golden Knights are officially my backup, my burner team.
Okay.
Behind the Rangers.
Not a problem.
So I'm definitely rooting for them. I'm going to tell you something, hot take, call it a hot take. The NHL Finals are a more interesting story than Stanley Cup Finals, because I don't want to be excoriated by hockey fans. The Stanley Cup Finals are more interesting than the NBA Finals.
That's
I mean, no matter who's in there from these 4 teams in the NBA.
You know what? I kind of second that right
I have to
now.
agree with that too.
I mean,
but it's the fact that because you have an expansion team.
Unless LeBron gets to the finals. Because even though we still think Cleveland's not a tough enough team.
But you know, if
Is LeBron Golden State? I say LeBron Golden State. Is Cleveland Golden State more interesting than Ovechkin versus Vegas? Ovechkin Vegas. Vegas Ovechkin.
That's definitely
right?
not. That's definitely not. Because everybody wants to see Ovechkin needs to win one. He
does. I agree. It'll be a great story for him to finally get.
Well, first he needs to win
this
this next game first. He needs to win games. He needs to win.
But he has to do that. We're not there
Game
yet.
7.
We're not there yet. So that's cool. Let's follow that for the next couple of weeks. We can actually talk some hockey on the show, and it'll be interesting for the next couple. Not that hockey's not interesting. I just got to put these disclaimers in there. Not that hockey's not interesting. I actually like hockey, but this time of year, usually the NBA takes center stage.
This is true.
So it's cool to be able to talk some hockey.
Hey guys, thank you for watching this week's episode. If you like what you saw, like, subscribe, comments. We want to hear your feedback. Subscribe. You want to hit that notification button too.
Subscribe.
Subscribe again.
Subscribe when we last time.
Ask questions.
Notification bell.
Yes, so see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in.
Notification bell.
Outright.